My name's Nate Boley, and 20 years ago, strength training changed the course of my life. I built a gym here in Bend, Oregon from scratch that's helped over 1,500 people change their lives as well through strength training. If you want to change your life, head over to benstrengthwarehouse.com, hit the Start My Journey button, and let's chat. All right, guys, we'll see you there. Hey guys, welcome back to the podcast, season 3. Can you believe it? We are in 3 years of podcasting. And man, this year I took a couple weeks off. So thanks guys for dealing with me on that. And I've got some really good stuff in store for you this year. I've got a lot of member testimonials that are coming on and just some really great content that I believe is just going to up the experience and the value of this podcast. I've also been really looking at doing some video podcasts, so watch out for that on our YouTube. Right now it's just me or whoever, the guest, just doing audio, but I think I want to step it up a little bit and do some editing and some video podcasts. So we'll see. We'll see what happens, but it'll still be available on all the podcasting stuff, but there will be a video version as well at some point. But I want to welcome you guys to the Go Heavier, Go Home podcast. Today's episode, we're going to go into a series that I've been talking about. I'm going to call it You Are the Asset. Right? How regular exercise can help you live longer, save money, and boost productivity. Me being an entrepreneur and a business owner, and I go to a lot of business meetings and stuff like that, people they always talk about, hey, I've got this asset, and they never talk about the one true asset they have, which is your health span and your lifespan, right? Lifespan is obviously how long you lived, whether that's 30 years, 50 years, or 100 years, or 150 years, or whatever. Health span is how long you are healthy enough to enjoy those years. And there's a big controversy on how many years you have in your earning capabilities, that type of stuff. And I think for me, as long as I'm healthy, I don't ever, plan on retiring. I'm going to do something, whether that's, fixing cars on the side or coaching or doing investments or something like that. Like, I'm never going to retire. So I'm not building this crazy big nest egg right now because I know that I'm going to work for as long as I am alive, right? For as long as I have the capability of working, I will work. This being said, you can always make more money, but you can't always have more health. So you want to make sure that for the longest period of your life, you are going above and beyond your fitness. And I hear a lot of people, they go, I've got this physical job, or I do this X, Y, Z. It's just not enough. You need to be able to it's just like saying, hey, I'm going to save enough money just so I can live bare minimally in my golden years, right? You want to have more money so you can live the life that you want to in your elderly years and your golden years. And you want to make sure that if you live long enough time, that you have enough money to make sure that you can do those things that you want and live in a financial position that's going to be good for you. So I kind of just want to go over some things. So we're really going to talk about a few different things. So we're going to talk about how being healthy and being strong, in particularly, not just being cardiovascular in shape, but having good muscle mass on you, having good bone strength, and being able to pick stuff up and be really strong, saves you a bunch of money, can also help you have a return ROI if you are a business owner, and also if you want to just have more productivity in your job or whatever. Even if you're just a business owner and you want more productivity, we're going to talk about some bone mass, and we're going to talk about your brain and muscle mass and stuff like that. And then we're going to talk about how Strength Warehouse can help, right? All right, so I guess the first thing I'll go into is grip strength, right? So grip strength, actually, there's been quite a few studies done on this. It's a predictor of longevity of life and also your health span, right? So, just a recent study that I looked at, I just got some real quick, bullet points or whatever, but they're talking about a 5K decrease, so 10-pound decrease in grip strength, which is actually very huge. Grip strength increases your all-cause mortality risk by 16 to 20%. Now, I know it's a spread, but can you imagine being like, hey, if I lose 10 pounds of strength in my hands, I could potentially have an all mortality risk of 20%. That's absolutely huge, right? So that's going to, shorten your health span, shorten your lifespan. Grip strength correlates with biological age. So basically, you have your physical age, your hourly and daily age, but you also have biological age, right? So like how fast you're aging, stuff like that in your cells. Correlates with biological age and chronic disease risk, whether that's heart disease or whatever, any type of disease. Regular resistance training reduces risks of cardiovascular disease and some certain cancers. Now, I don't really know how correlated those are, but again, this was just one study that I was saying. So basically, they're saying, hey, if your grip strength goes down, well, why would your all-cause mortality risk go up by 20% or 16 to 20%? Well, if you think about this, how many times have you needed your hands to pull yourself up? Maybe you slipped on the ice, maybe you fell over, maybe you're just getting up off the ground, right? As we age, movement is absolutely key. My grandma passed away in 2020 at age of 89, and the main downfall to her demise was she was not strong enough, and she had a 3-story house. And she had to walk up and down stairs all day long. So she would go up the stairs to go to bed, and by the time she was, in her later years before she passed away, she'd go up the stairs for nighttime, and then she'd come downstairs for the day, and that was the only time you see her going up and down the stairs because it just got too hard for her. She wasn't doing any type of physical activity. She wasn't working on her grip strength. She wasn't working on her quads, on her legs, on her hips, on her glutes, anything. So it was very difficult for her to go up and down the stairs. So she only did it once a day. On the way down one day, she slipped somehow and she tried to grab onto the railing and she was unable to support herself with her hand, and she went tumbling down the stairs, breaking her hip and her tailbone, which put her in bed rest for I think 6 or 8 months, with some physical therapy. They had to come into the house because she was very unmobile, right? That was basically the last 8 months of her life, right? Right after that, she passed away. Super sad, and I hate talking about it because I love her so much. And I really wish that she would have taken some of my advice and worked on some of her grip strength. But that's the biggest thing. So if you take a fall and you're unable to catch yourself or you're unable to pull yourself up, it can really be devastating to your life. And as we know, in all the data that's out there, movement is the magic, right? If you stop moving, it's like Newton's law. What stays in motion, or what's in motion stays in motion. You want to make sure you stay in motion for as long as possible, and you don't want to be sedentary. That's where weight gain happens. That's where chronic disease happens. That's where injuries happen and everything like that. So that's one of the reasons why they predict longevity of life with grip strength. So if you fall over and you're unable to pick yourself up, you can die right there. We had a client a long time ago who was having some major medical issues in his elderly years, fell over in the snow and was unable to get up out of the snow, and he sat in the snow for hours. Did not pass away or anything like that, but ended up in the hospital. Very, very lucky, because that could have been the end of his life right there. And so when he came into our gym, we worked on, grip strength, how to get yourself up off the ground, and that type of stuff, and that significantly will change his life forever. I'm sure of that. We've had multiple clients that we've done that with, like, hey, you have a hard time getting up off the ground. You need to be able to, if you fall down for whatever reason, you need to be able to get up off the ground. But ideally, we can work on the strength so you don't fall over. That's the biggest thing, right? Stability, mobility, and strength. So those are really the two things. So I'm guessing they didn't really go into it, but my guess is they're saying, hey, if your grip strength goes down, you have a much more likely chance of falling over and getting hurt, which would make you immobilized, and then your health is going to go down. All right, enough of that. We'll move on to some bone density, right? So I got a little chart here that talks about bone mass and age, right? Women and men. And for men and women, actually, they're fairly close. So peak bone mass starts for men at really about 10 years old to 25-ish. You're really, really, really peaked out in your bone mass for men. The curve for men lasts longer, right? So the curve starts earlier for men. It peaks a little bit higher probably about from my vision here in the chart, about 15-20% higher, I would say. And then it curves off really gently over the course of the rest of your life, but it still goes down. We're talking about 3 to 5% from what I can just see on the scale here over the course of the next, from 30 all the way to about 100. Now, women, they peak around the same time, but are a little bit later, right? So about 27 to 30. They don't stay there very long. By the time they're in their 40s, they've already significantly dropped off about 7 to 8% bone mass from their 30s. And then it takes 45 to 55, takes a massive loss. We're at 15% bone mass loss from 40 to 50. And then it gradually, and that's between the menopause time frames that are typical, right? And then you get a gradual bone loss from there of about 3% until you're about 100. Now, what happens when you're strength training is you peak at the same time, but the gradual falls off much slower for both men and women as a 1% loss over a 3% loss if you're strength training, right? You can gain, so if you are in the menopause area where you have rapid bone loss, say you lost 15%. They've done studies, and I don't have it here in front of me, but you can gain 5 to 8% back just by doing progressive overload. Now, when we're talking about strength training and weight training, I'm not talking about doing just 25-pound dumbbells or 15-pound dumbbells every day for the rest of your life. That's going to give you a little bit, but it's not going to give you the bang for your buck that you're looking for. And studies time and time again will show this, that you want to make sure that you are doing what we call progressive overload, and that means you're overloading your body with more weight each time that you're trying to, whether that's more reps or more weight. Particularly more weight does better because your body's going to respond to the adaptations that you're throwing at. It's going to adapt to the stimulus that you're asking it to do. For me, like, hey, I'm going to bench today, right? So if I'm saying, hey, last week I hit 200 pounds, this week I'm going to try to hit 205, my bones go, oh, wait, we're used to 200 pounds. Now you're throwing on 205. Okay. Well, I'm going to have to adapt to this. And so it's going to put more resources, more allegations, more minerals and vitamins and all that type of stuff into your bone mass and your muscle mass. Now you want to do this forever. You want to try to progressive overload for the rest of your life. Now, if you progressively overloaded and you say, hey, today I'm 39 and I'm doing 205, so that means by 45, if I continuously did that, I should be at about 400, 500 pounds on the bench press or whatever. Not going to happen, right? There's injuries, there's stuff that sets you back, there's all sorts of things that, can happen. And it's probably not going to just be a linear progression all the way from 200 pounds all the way up to 400 pounds. There's going to be troughs and valleys, and there's going to be peaks and mountains, right? So you want to make sure that you're just saying, hey, my RX from Dr. Nate is eat healthy, sleep good, limit bad things in your life like tons of caffeine and alcohol and, other recreational drugs, lift weights, progressive overload for the rest of my life. The simplest thing you could possibly do. It's so simple, it makes it ridiculously hard for people to do. Long-winded thing. All right, I want to go into muscle mass, right? So kind of similar to the bone mass scale that I have, right? It's called muscle mass and strength loss with age. So again, it's over the course of life from 10 years old all the way to 100, and it shows you men and women. And it doesn't give you exactly how much muscle mass you're going to have because everybody's different. Some people have great genetics and some people have really poor genetics. But it goes over and it says, hey, peak adulthood, gradual decline, and substantial decline. And it shows you those things. So we're going to start at 10. So men, as we all know, gain muscle mass significantly faster than women and consistently get more muscle mass than women. Age of 10, women kind of start getting muscle mass and men just start kind of peaking all the way up until they're in their late 20s. And so men and women both peak really similar according to this chart, right in the 24 to 30 age range, which is really typical of my experience, right? I kind of peaked out on my muscle, development, I would say, in my mid 30s. Now I'm still gaining muscle because I'm very intentional about it. And this is just like a general thing, not saying that somebody's working out or not, but just generally, right? Men peak out around 25 to 30 and women start to peak out around 25, right? Now they are significantly difference about 30% difference from what I'm seeing here in how much muscle mass a woman gets over a man. And then women start to decline right at 40. There's a small dip for men in 40. It's a really gradual, but women dip right around the 40. Actually, it's right before that. It's about 36, 37. They start to dip, and then they kind of stable out between 50, and then about 55 to 60, they take a pretty substantial decline. Their curve, women's curve, is slightly less than men just because they don't have a ton of muscle mass, in the beginning as well. Men, it looks like they peak out around like that 25 to 30, they take a small dip around 40, and then they gradually decline all the way until they get to about 65 or 70, and then they have a pretty steep drop off. So men usually keep their muscle mass for a lot longer, and then once they hit that 70-ish, 75-ish area, it really starts to tank on them, which is tough because you're used to being like the Superman, you're used to being really strong, and all of a sudden within like a 5 to 10 year period, you're like, whoa, I lost like 25% of my muscle mass, right? So what do? Again, the progressive overload is your RX forever. It's your prescription. It's your doctor given prescription. It's your coach given prescription. You want to be in the gym lifting weights until the day you die. That's as simple as that, right? And I think that there's much more people talking about this today, which is great because it's been known for decades, but somehow it's not gotten into the mainstream media, and everybody's still like, hey, cardio this, cardio that, this and that, this and that. No, you definitely want to have cardio. Don't get me wrong. You need cardio in your life. It's great for your heart. It's great for your lungs. It's great for your veins and all that type of stuff, your cardiovascular system. What you really want is to stay strong, bone density, tendon strength, and muscle mass. It's going to keep you have less injuries. It's going to keep you stronger. It's going to keep you from falling over. It's going to keep you from being able to not get up off the ground. And those are really the main two things that are going to help you as the asset maintain high productivity, right? And so we're going to go into how to make more money, ROI on your fitness. So I'm just going to tell you a quick story. I was in the automotive industry for 16 years, and I worked in a shop. I worked in a dealership, which is a very high producing shop, one of the highest producing Subaru dealerships in the country. It was one of the oldest Subaru dealerships in the country. And as you know, if you're in Central Oregon here, there's a Subaru, maybe 5 on every single corner at every single stoplight. And so when I was early in my automotive industry career, I was sitting at a stoplight one day, and I was like, man, there's a Subaru there, Subaru there, Subaru there, Subaru there. There's a lot of freaking Subarus. It's like, I bet if I worked at a dealership or somewhere that was, specialized in Subarus, I'd have a lot of work. I'd be able to work a lot. And that's my goal right now, is to work a lot and make a lot of money. So I went to work for the Subaru dealership, and within the first year, I tripled my income coming from the other shop, which worked on every car, every make. Why? Because I got really good at what I did. I worked on the same exact cars every single day, and there was a lot of them. There's a lot of cars. But I had nine other technicians and 4 other lube technicians in the shop with me. And over the course of the 10 year that I was there, I always had the highest amount of productivity. I always had the most hours clocked. I had the most hours booked. I had the most cars worked on. Everything, every single metric that you could analyze in a Subaru dealership for a technician, I was well above 2 or 3 times more than everybody else. And actually, I had the highest clocked flat rate hours in 1 month that any other Subaru dealer in the entire country. And it actually was so much that the Subaru of America came out, and they decided they wanted to do an audit on my hours because they're like, there's no way this guy did 537 hours in 1 month. There's no way, especially because 86% of it was warranty work. Well, they came out and did an inspection. They did an audit, and they came to find out that all of it was good. All of my notes were in. All the jobs were taken care of 100%. Everything was good. And they're like, well, how'd you do it? And I said, well, I'm very efficient with my time. I'm here to work. I focus. I don't do anything else. And I'm fit, right? I'm 30 years old at the time, 32 years old. I'm fit. I'm happy. I'm very healthy. And I can run laps around everybody else. Now, all the other people in the shop, they saw this, and they're like, well, how can you just keep on getting all this work? And how can you keep on getting all this work? Because I have endless amounts of energy. I can just continue to go all day long. One, focus. I have the resilience from working with weight training. I've got the mental fortitude. I've got the discipline, and I've got the physical fitness, the mental and physical strength and fitness to continue to go. Right. And I had so many less sick days than everybody else. The average for people that are physically active employees versus non-physically active employees, they take 1.3 fewer sick days annually. Right. That's not a ton. But if you think about that over a 10-year period, that's like thousands of dollars. Right. You get boost in energy, you enhance your stress management, you're socially engaged, and you can just work. You're like a workhorse. Now, that being said, this is definitely something that like just doing general exercise will help you with as well, but it helps like significantly more by pushing heavier weights. Because you're going to be like, hey, this job's really hard. I'm struggling with this, this diagnosis of this electrical problem. Well, what's it like? It's just like that same feeling, like this is stressful, this is hard. Same thing when you're in the bottom of a heavy squat and you got to push yourself back out of it, right? There's no other option. You're either going to crumble or you're going to make this thing happen. You're going to get this weight back up or you're going to crumble down to the ground. Same thing in the automotive industry when you have a big diagnosis or this job's really, it sucks, blah, 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 blah. You got to put this motor together in 8 hours and you're on a time crunch and the customer's from out of town and they're waiting and blah, blah, blah. I mean, all these types of things happen. And you just get the job done. You focus on the thing, which is focusing on the weight training or focusing on the job ahead of you. You're just going to make it happen. Versus somebody that doesn't do this, they're much more likely to give up. They're going to take a smoke break. They're going to, complain about it. They're not going to get it done. So there's a lot of ROI on exercising and strength training. If you want that pay raise and that promotion, make sure you're getting some strength training in. I guarantee you, I went from all the way from the new guy on the totem pole all the way to the shop manager, the shop foreman at the dealership. And I surpassed every single person out there. And I guarantee I put all of that on focus, determination, mental stability, mental strength, and physical strength. So the next thing I want to talk about is, are you running a business? Or are you managing a team? You can check your ROI, right? So workplace health improves financial performance by over 2.5 times. So if your employees are engaging in physical activity, your performance of your business and your team is going to be 2.5x times higher than the team that doesn't do this. Having fit employees and strength trained employees reduces absences by 25%. Can you imagine 25% just right off the top by workers that are going to be there instead of taking days off, right? And workers' compensation costs down by 41% because of injuries. That is absolutely huge. Just by having physically healthy and strong employees that are engaged in their health, you could potentially have 66% just right off the top. Can you imagine your company or your team just having a 66% raise? What would that do for your life? What would that do for your employees' lives? What would that do for your business that could help reach more people, right? So I highly implore you, as a business owner, you should be definitely engaging, or a manager, you should definitely be engaging in physical fitness. Why? Because it helps you in so many ways as well. It helps your mental resilience. It helps you be able to handle stressful situations, which all businesses and managers deal with a lot of stressful situations. When I was in the automotive industry, they said 2 to 4 years is really a max time frame for 80% of shop managers. Why? Because it's so frustrating. It's such a stressful job that they either can't do it anymore or they have a heart attack. And I've seen that happen. I saw 3 service managers come through the Subaru Bend dealership, and 1 had a heart attack, and the 2 were so stressed out they left. Now the new one there, he's a young guy. He's pretty healthy. He's been there, I think, for a while now, maybe 5 years, but he's definitely an outlier for sure. He's a great guy, but that's not the average on the industry. 2 to 4 years as a shop foreman. Sorry, not shop foreman, a shop manager. That's hard, and you might have a heart attack. Today's heart attack, $100,000. And you're going to spend a lot of that unless you have really, really good insurance. And at the bare minimum, you're going to pay your deductible, right? So for every $1 spent on employees' well-being, that can result in a $5.81 return. That's absolutely huge. That's absolutely huge. Can you imagine every employee just giving, you gave $1 and you get $5 back. So you give 50 grand. I don't know what that math is off the top of my head, but that's a lot. I'll just go with if you paid $1 for every employee, you're going to get $5.81 back. If you guys want to do the math, that's amazing as well. Go for it. Now, at Strength Warehouse, we believe that the benefits of regular exercising and particularly strength training goes so much farther beyond just building muscle, losing weight, and the aesthetics part of it, right? Exercising, in our opinion, is a tool for living longer, healthier, and a more fulfilling life. We want to also positively impact your wallet, right? So we're looking at Strength Warehouse in multiple different assets. We're not just saying, hey, we're going to get these people abs, we're going to get these people moving better, we're going to get these people building more muscle, but we want to do all those things. We also want to make sure that you get a huge ROI in financial terms on your investment with us, because we know coming to our gym, it's an investment, right? It's not a $10 a month Planet Fitness membership. It's not a come do your own thing. We're going to strategically build a plan with you and help you build all of these things, right? We've done the research and the results are absolutely clear. Strength training is not just about going to the gym. It's an investment in your future. And if you can live longer and have more life or health span, you're going to be able to make more money. You're going to be able to hang out with your kids and your family more. You're going to be able to go on more vacations. Man, it's so simple that it just hurts me when people don't do it, and it hurts me when people don't stick with it. It's such a bummer. But I want to leave you guys on a good note, right? So, we can help you out. We've helped out over 2,000 people make more money, live longer, be stronger, and have a better life. We can help you in multiple different ways. We can help you prioritize your life. We can help you with different opportunities. We can help you feel better, move better, live better. We can help you make more money. If you're ready to join in on that, or you know somebody that's ready, I'd love to talk to them. We have what we call a free no sweat intro. So there's no sweating involved. There's no workout. There's no high pressure sales. It's just me and the client, or one of our coaches and the potential client. And we're just going to sit down. We're just going to have a chat. Hey, client, or hey, lead, what have you done in the past? How come it didn't work for you? Where are you at now? What are you looking to achieve? What's success look like for you in 6 months, a year from now? Are you looking to achieve, better physique? Are you looking to achieve more strength? Are you looking to achieve more confidence? Are you looking to achieve more financial success? Are you looking to be a better leader? When I ask somebody, people about being a leader, I first look at themselves like, hey, what are you doing? If you're not doing the things that you're telling your employees to do or your team to do, they're not going to do it. They're not going to follow you. You have to be the leader, and the leader does the thing that they want their people to follow them, right? The definition of a leader is somebody's following you. You can't lead from behind. You can't tell somebody to, hey, I'm the business owner. I want all you guys to get fit because it's going to bring me back a 2.5x times, ROI. And then you not go to the gym. Come on, give me a break, you guys. So anyway, back onto the track. I'd love to chat with you or your spouse or whoever you guys think. If you're already a member with us, thank you so much. We appreciate you guys and we love you so much. If you're not a member, love to talk to you. But like I said, if you are a member and there's somebody in your life that you just know could benefit from this, just send us an email. You can reply back to this. I'll shoot an email in on this podcast in the show notes. Just send us an email. Put us in an email chain together. I'd love to just talk to them. We can start building a stronger, healthier, more productive life for them or yourself. Anyway, on that note, you guys are more capable than you ever knew you were. And thanks again for joining us on the podcast today. Let's have a great 2025. All right. We'll talk to you guys on the next one. See you later. Thanks for joining us on the Go Heavy or Go Home podcast today. We hope you got a lot of value and had a ton of fun. If you guys want to learn a little bit more about what we do, or just have a ton of resources at your fingertips, head over to benstrengthwarehouse.com and hit the Start My Journey button. All right, guys, until next time, go heavy or go home.